Hey, hi. In this video, I'm going to teach you two ways in which you can create a waterfall chart in Microsoft Excel. I'll also be explaining the pros and cons of both the approaches. But firstly, let's understand what is a waterfall chart. A waterfall chart is a type of a visualization that is used to show how various factors have contributed to the change in initial value. And we sequentially introduce one factor at a time to prepare this chart. It's far more easier to understand by looking at an illustration. So let me take you through one. In here, if you look at it, what I have is the target sales and actual sales. We also have the breakdown for the target and the actuals. There is a difference between the two. The actual sales is around 810 lower than the target. Now, what we want to do is we want to explain how each region has contributed to this change. So which are the regions that have contributed negatively and which are the regions that have contributed positively. So having understood waterfall charts, let's see how to create one. In order to create a waterfall chart, what we need is we need to set up the values in the axis across the row. So target, south, north, east, west actuals, I've set them across the row. The target value and the actual values are totals. So here we are simply going to link them to the totals. So target is 11863 and actuals is 11053. The variances that we see here are floating bars. For this, we need to know how much is the variance that's contributed by each of these factors. In this case, it is simply going to be the difference between the actuals and the target. So I'm simply going to put it as actuals minus target for South Zone. Let me copy and paste it all the way through. It'll be good to have a check to ensure that the target plus the variance as total gives us the actuals. So let me put a small check here where I'm going to check sum of all the values from target to the variances, whether they equal the actuals. It matches. That's great. Now the next step is to create the waterfall chart. If you're using the built-in chart type, all you have to do is select the data, go to the insert tab, and among the chart type, click on waterfall chart. The chart is almost there. The actuals data is floating. It should be grounded. So what we need to do that is select the actuals data point here. When you select it once, it will select all the data point. Click on it once more. Now it's selecting only the actuals. Right click on it and choose the option to set as total. I would also probably do that for the target because we want consistency in the legend. So I'll right click on this and choose set as total. That's it. Our chart is done here. One of the issues with built-in chart type is that the axis labels always starts from 0. And in that case, the issue is that the variances that we see here appear almost the same. It's very difficult to figure out how much is the contribution of each factor. By the amount we can definitely figure out, but the shape doesn't help us a lot. So one thing we can do is reduce the axis values here. In the sense, the minimum and maximum, we are going to change it. So I'll right click on the axis, go to format axis. I'm going to put the minimum as, let's say 6,000 and maximum as 12,000. So when I do it this way, what we notice is that we have a much larger bars. Perhaps I should go for 12,500 so that there is some padding available on the top. Yeah. So we are done. There is another issue with waterfall chart that is built in, and that is it provides limited formatting options. I have a separate video that explains how to format these increase and decrease bars. But even otherwise, there are very, very limited choices. So if I have to, for example, move my chart title, I cannot move that. My axis labels that I see here, if I have to rotate them, there is no option to rotate my axis labels. And these are all certain issues that we are going to deal with. On the other hand, we have one more approach, which is slightly more detailed, but gives us a far more flexible formatting options. Let me show you how to do that. For that as well, what we need to do is we need these axis values in a row. So let me copy and paste this down. If we look at our chart, the target and actuals are simple bar charts. So here we need the totals. So we're going to do it almost the same way we did last time. So link the targets and the actuals to their totals. And let me give a heading to this called totals. The heading is critical. You can give any heading, but the heading has to be there. For the variances, what we need to do is we need to set up a starting and ending point for these variances. So if you look at the south bar starts at 11863 and goes down by 748 points. So this 11863 is nothing but the ending value of the target. So let me link it to that. And the end point where it ends is going to be 11863 minus the 748. The 748 is already a negative number, so I'm adding it here. Next comes north. North, where is it going to start? It's going to start at 11115 and will go down by 82 points. So 11115 plus the variance which we have already computed. Let me link it to it. Same thing we're going to repeat for east. East will start at 11,034 and will go down by 549. And west is going to start at 10,485 and will go up by 568. Once we have set this up, the next task is to plot a line chart. It may sound a little counterintuitive because these are all looking like bars, but we're going to draw a line. But yes, that's what we're going to do. So select this area, go to the insert tab, and let's plot a line chart. Now this is the chart we've got. This doesn't look anything like the chart we had earlier, but we are going to make it look like that, or even better for that matter. So firstly, let's look at the totals column. The totals column, the target and actuals, we don't see anything because they had just one data point, so they couldn't be plotted here. There is a big gap here. Now we need to make this totals into a bar because if you look at the original chart, they are basically bars. We need to change the chart type for them. Where do we select the target and actuals? They are not visible here. We can select that from the legends. So let me click on the legend once, and second time I'm going to click on it specifically on the totals. Right click. Let's go to change series chart type. In the total section, I'm going to say I want a bar chart, or I'm going to choose that. Let's click OK. For the sake of consistency, let me also shade this in gray font. So it's getting closer to what we want. In the next point, what we're going to do is, we have a line chart, but what we want is not a line. We want a bar between these two lines. This can be done by using an up-down bar. So select the lines, go to the chart design tab. In different versions of Excel, it could be named differently. In some of them, it could be design tab or layout tab. Now go to the chart design tab, click on add chart element, and let's go to up-down bars. And here I'm going to choose an up-down bar. You notice it's gradually getting into shape like what we want. I'm going to now format this up-down bar so that let me have it in red color because negatives are always shown in red. And the up bar, let me format it to be in green. So this is getting to look much closer to what we had earlier. The other issue is in terms of the line. That was something we need to hide. It's very easy to hide the line. What you do is select the line, go to format data series, and in the fill option, choose the line to be no line. I'll do it for the start part as well as the end part. And let me get rid of the legends. We are done here. Now, what are the advantages of choosing this approach? It looks fairly lengthy. The advantage is that I have more formatting options. I can play around with my chart positioning. If I want to rotate the x-axis labels, I can do that. And there are quite a lot of other formatting options that we can do. That is also explained in another video. And one more big advantage is if you notice, the axis is automatic here. Automatically, I'm getting a axis where I can see the variances more prominently. Right? Now, let me do one thing just to show you the limitations of what we had in the older approach. So to illustrate this issue, let me do one thing. Let me multiply all the values by maybe 3. I'll right click on this. I copied the value 3. I'll right click on this range, go to paste special values and then multiply. Okay. Now you notice that the older chart that we had where we manually change the axis is useless now because all the variances are way above our maximum value. So we have to manually edit this once more if we want to make this of any use. Whereas the other approach we used is automatically changing the axis, and far more easier for us to present it to the end user without doing manual modifications. This inbuilt waterfall chart has a way to give us our data labels automatically. Here, getting the data label is not easy. You can get it for the target and actuals, but for the variances, getting the data label is not very easy because that data label is elsewhere. But that can also be done. That is explained in the next video. I hope you found this video useful. If you want to keep in touch with all the latest techniques, do subscribe to our channel. And if you did like this video, please click on the like button and do share this video with your friends and colleagues to whom you think this will be useful. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.